All right, one more time. We're going to check this audio this time. See what it sounds like. Check this. Ooh, audio this. Better. Just had to restart, apparently. OBS, maybe. That was it. Wow. Okay. So now that we're here, we're going to refresh everything. This is normally my prep time right here, but we have to refresh the overlays. And for some reason, that refresh isn't working like I'm expecting. I'm expecting to see the refresh of the overlay here. Oh, you know why? Because I need to run the other apps here. Let's get those up. 1 and 2. Okay, good. And then back over here to OBS. Let's start with the drone game. We'll refresh that first to get the music going. There's my button.
Surly Dev is in the house.
Welcome, Surly Dev. Surly Dev was helping out this morning, getting the CodeRush Discord server up and running. Thanks to Surly Dev for that. If you think it's awesome, it's all Surly Dev's fault. And, you know, if it needs some issues, let us know. If it needs some things fixed, let us know. What else do I got? I got one more. Where's my back overlay? There it is right there. Did we get one of these already? In the house, in Discord, I'm everywhere. Well, the show was going great till Surly Dev walked in. Yeah, it was. It was so great, actually, Surly Dev. Don't think that comment by Mr. Announcer to heart. All right, so now we need to. I'm going to need to restart my main window, my Dungeons and Dragon app. Let's do that. That's what I want to work on today, anyway. This and I just closed it down, waiting for this to say start right up here. Why are you taking so long? There it is. All right, start. Codebase Alpha, you got 2 announcements, 2 fanfares today. You bypassed our security gates. I think because I closed everything down before we saved. All right.
Willie Shaker.
All right, there we go. That looks good. Sound is good now. Roy's not going to make it with us today, kids. Sorry about that. Roy wasn't feeling so well this morning. Said I'm not going to be great company. And I was like, dude, that's impossible. That is impossible, Rory. So it's just us. I think we'll be able to make it through. And so my idea is this. I am basically yesterday I was going through and I was looking through, like I brought up Little Cutie. And I said, hey, Little Cutie, what spells you got? And we were kind of clicking on them, casting them. We were making sure that number was correct. We were making sure the number that came out of dice was correct. That's what we were looking for. Codebase Alpha says, Mr. Announcerbot is getting quite surly for some reason. Surly Dev says, not as surly as he would have been if Mark hadn't edited my last pull request and made them less surly and more funny. Okay. Yeah, that might have been true. Might have cut back a little bit on the surly. But I think surly is excellent, right? In terms of, he's like a war horse, right? That gets the job done. And you just maybe rein him in a little bit and everybody else is, you know, a little more at ease. And that's it. But definitely, Surly, I appreciate the work you're doing out there in the Discord server. It's like, you know, I created that a while back and I never told anybody about it because I was just like, no, my mind is reeling from trying to stay on top of one more thing. But I think you took care of a lot of you bypassed otherwise the learning curve I would have had to take to do some of the things you did to set things up today and to kind of get a sense of where to take it. So thank you for that, Surly. I totally appreciate that. Really appreciate it. Okay, so here we go. What is this? Yesterday, what were we doing? We were basically testing each one of these And after each test, we're going like, okay, good, the engine's now working. But what we should have been doing was creating tests for each one. Excuse me. So let's see if we can figure out how to do it. And really importantly, let's see if we can figure out how to do it with just a few lines of code. That's really, really what I want to do here. So let's see what we can do. I guess I have to shut this down to do the test cases. Let's do that. I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to actually start up a second instance just so we have the running version of this thing up for reference. So I'm not running it from Visual Studio, just running it standalone. And so here we are here. I guess I got to initialize player data again from this one. But I just wanted to have these pieces up here. We can also hide the scroll and pull it from here. So that's kind of what I want to look at. I want to look at, let's start with Little Cutie.
Little Cutie.
And let's build a test for the first one, Light. And see how that goes. And if it's too much code, then let's figure out how to build stuff so it's less code. Because ultimately I want to create a test case for each one of these that we have right now in this state. That's what I want to do. So let's hide the scroll again. All right, let's look at that. So we're going down into D&D tests. And Warhorse like Sprinkles. Yeah, you're a little bit like a Warhorse like Sprinkles, I think. Frank's here. Frank, hello. Welcome, buddy. You're on my list still of things that, folks I got to build a fanfare for, Frank. Strawberries and roller coasters, right? I'm remembering that correctly, Frank? If I'm not, Frank has no idea what I'm talking about. But I think Frank said he likes strawberries and roller coasters, if I'm recalling correctly. Bonjour. Bonjour. When I teach my kids how to speak French, I really only teach them how to say bonjour. But it's always like, bonjour, bonjour. Like, they're like, bonjour, bonjour. And I'm like, it's bonjour. There's a pitch change. No idea. Uh-oh, Frank has no idea. That means I've mixed up, I've conflated somebody else's strawberries and roller coasters request with Frank. Oh, no. All right, so let's go over into tests here. We were looking at our dice roll test. That's kind of where we had last done some work here. And I think I kind of want to make these independent of the players. I think. Let's build the test case the way I want the test case to work, what I want it to look like. So I'm just going to hit T now. We may move this to another file here, but there's T for test, and we're going to call this test cast light spell. I'll just call it cast light spell, like that. And I think I want something like this. Character.player is equal to get kids, here's some ice for your drink. Oh no! Just crashed into it. Got it. Frank says no, he's not in roller coasters at all. I don't know who the heck that was then. I lost that one. Puck up, of heaven's sakes. Yep, the roller coaster is 7, where are you? We need your help. Development. Thanks, Genescu 7. I'm glad you're here. We need you, buddy. We need you. My favorite place to be, right in that gear right now.
I am.
And Yoda's gonna help us. But he's out just in time to keep us from getting sued, kids. Dun, 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 dun. I want to make a note of that. Frank says cloud development. I'm going to put that in my notes. Not strawberries and roller coasters. I'm taking that out. I don't know what I was thinking. Cloud dev. Got some cool clouds when Jetsam comes in. So I've got Greg, WF Senior, Frank. Look who's here! Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Michael Jolly!
Bald bearded builder. It's bald bearded builder. Watch this. That's the power of the bald, kids. Right there. Right there. Not a. Not a lick on me. Bring me tacos, says Bald Bearded Builder. That was supposed to be for Codebase Alpha. Wait, what was? Because you're not my supervisor. Okay, it's true. You're not my king. You're not my boss. Yeah. Bonjour, Frank. Bonjour. Comment allez-vous? See, got the pitch changes down. I lived in France for about 5 years after high school. Or actually it was before my senior year in high school when I was in the United States. And so I lived in France for 5 years, and I enjoyed it very much, loved being there. I've been back and visited a couple times since. So yeah, in general, I love it. I've hung out in Paris, and Avignon. So yeah, and I think the French people are great in general. I'm like, I think they're great. So kids who are on my list of folks that I want to build, this is my list right here of fanfares. Live coding, Angry Little Hamster. Angry Little Hamster I've actually done work on, not done yet. Frank, Greg, Deepwater. Deepwater I've started doing work on too as well. I've started collecting pieces. Deepwater's I think could be really, really cool. So you got a little French accent. Parker ship needs steering looked at. Yeah, you'd think after all of this time. All right, so here's what I'm thinking and feeling. Something like this. Get player. And the level, what the level is, because we need a couple things. We need the level, and maybe that's it. Get player, not get. So this is going to be like a, I don't know, player helper. Get player, that's my level. And then I want to say, something like this. Shortcut helper dot get from level. This is going to be a level 6 player, and this is going to be get shortcut. Well, actually here I think I can actually get it. All shortcuts, all action shortcuts dot get. What do I have in here? These are all associated with the player ID. Maybe I really have to get the player in here. All right, hold on. Let's work with what we got for a second and see how far it is away from where I want to be. No, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go back to where I wanted it. So we're going to say player helper is what we'll call it. I'm going to call it test players. Get from level 6 right here. I just opened all the windows in the house. It's actually nice outside. That's awesome. Frackberg, where are you? What country are you in, Frackberg? If you don't mind sharing that personally identifiable private information. All right, so then I think for action shortcuts, I want to say get from spell, I think, or maybe action shortcuts. I have a, what do I have, a from spell already? There's your cloud development right there, Frank.
He's in the house.
What's your mother's maiden name and your bank card pin? Somewhere with icebergs, asks Codebase Alpha. Midwest USA. Okay, Frackberg. All right. Now we know everything we need to know about Frackberg. We got everything. Phishing attack has now started. I'm going to spam out everyone in the Midwest USA saying, hey, Frackberg. One of them will hit. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, it's interesting. I have the mind that has the ability to conceive of devastating security attacks and the courage of the scariest scaredy cat in the world. That's me. There's no way I'm going to step in that space. But often I'm like, oh yeah, we could make millions doing this. You know, that sort of thing. Also, there's the whole ethical side of things. So not only complete lack of courage, but also like a relatively high degree of empathy. So pretty much an inability to do any harm. But often I'm like, oh, here's how if I wanted to, I could just make money without doing anything, just have a ton of money coming in if I didn't mind hurting people. So I have a feeling actually a lot of people are kind of like that. I think a lot of developers out there are like, oh, there's like a ton of power. Fred, you okay, buddy? What are you working on down there? Are you okay? All right. I don't know if he's okay or not. Yeah, he's okay. He's working on something. Here, let's bring him up here. There you go, buddy. Okay. So here's what I think I want to do. Action shortcut. What is going on here? What is it? Player action shortcut? There it is. And then what do I have in here? Do I have a from spell? From item spell effect. I don't want that. What do I have? I got it from a feature. I wonder if it's just not public. Let's jump in here and look at this code. I'm expecting to see a from spell in here. I don't understand the spell effect. From item spell effect. From weapon. There it is from spell. Look at that. Guess who's going to make that public right now? By the way, here's a tip. If you're not debugging, you can hold down the Alt key and hit up and down arrow and cycle through the different visibilities, whatever those are. And so if I'm down here, instead of hitting Alt up to go up, increasing the visibility all the way up to public, if I'm down here, I can just hit Alt down and cycle back around like that. So that's what I'm gonna do. Mark is an empathic evil genius. Oh, there needs to be more pudding. Yeah, I'm getting hungry. No pudding here yet, kids. Thank God, that guy's always taking over my show. So we've got a from spell. We got a from action. I have a feeling that's going to need to be public too. So from spell, now I can pass it. Oh, this is not quite what I want though. I don't want to pass in a player action shortcut DTO. Let's call him this. Where's that shortcut DTO coming from? Oh, look at this. What's going on with spell effect? Yeah, I kind of see it. So the problem is we're kind of generally loading up all the action shortcuts from data that's out there already in terms of what are the, well, like the spells that they know, for example. Let's call in this, and how are we getting those spell effects out there? Are we really seriously passing in null for the spell effect? Wow. Okay. Let's do this. We have that from spell in here, right? I feel like it was close by. Yeah, so I'm thinking. All right, who's calling this again? Where's it called from? Null there. We actually send the item effect there. Yeah, I'm kind of okay with it. I think what I want to do is, I think I want to create a second from spell. What I think I need is a helper method here that just says from spell, give it the spell name, you pass in the player, and we also pass in the slot level. Like that. Set it equal to -1 by default. And instead of it being a list of player action shortcuts, I only want one coming back from it. Add spell shortcuts. Yeah, this is where things get kind of nasty in terms of the code here. You know what I could do? So when we say results.add, the results are a list of player action shortcuts. We are adding from spell, and we're passing in the spell slot level. Yeah, I'm almost thinking let's use this code and then let's pick the one we want at the end. And we call from spell and we pass in spell slot level. It's this one right here, spell slot level override. Where's that go? That goes into from action. Slot level comes in here and it gets assigned to spell slot level. Right there. So here's my idea. Right here. So I'm thinking what we do is we call this, and it's inefficient. I'm acknowledging that. It's inefficient. But it uses the code that's already being used by other pieces. So I'm feeling not too bad about that. And like that, we're going to say all shortcuts. Like that. And then RN is return null right there. And then what I want to do, oops. Sorry, I want to do I think in this case, I'm just going to return the first shortcut, is what I think I'm doing. Right here. Someone tell me what day it is. I can't keep track anymore. Ask Deepwater. Let me see. I think it's like a Wednesday. You know how I'm keeping track, Deepwater? From my shows. So I do shows Tuesday through Friday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so for me, I have a pretty strong sense of what day of the week it is based on that. But that's it. Also, I've got family here, and I think to some degree, since I'm like the most, relaxed during this whole time, because I'm basically an introvert, and I've got a couple members of my family who are extreme extroverts and are just like, oh my God, Mark, this is like you being at a party for like 5 weeks straight. And I'm like, yeah, I couldn't do that. I have trouble with like 5 hours at a party, let alone weeks. But since that's my, responsibility, I'm like, one of the things I'm trying to do, or at least I take that on as my responsibility, is I'm trying to, get some sort of activities going in the family. Deepwater says, my 4-year-old son is acting out going into our 4 weeks of staying at home. Yeah, I think that if you have, I think it kind of goes like this. That it's like, if here's no harm, zero harm done, or, this is neutral. If you can just push it up a little bit, that this time together will make everything significantly better and memorable for a long time. And if it drops down below neutral, it's again significantly retained. Whatever happens during this time will be retained. So my theory is, make sure that whatever I'm doing, I'm keeping it above neutral for everybody, that everybody is having a manageable time. They're getting through. Mental health is intact. They have projects they're doing that are distracting them. Every day, something to look forward to. Every day, a reset, a physical reset, where we all go on a walk as a family. We all go swimming. We do something where we are out of the house. We're going somewhere, moving somewhere together, and we live in a rural enough place that we can actually take a walk and no one's around us. So, how you doing, baby? Karen, my wife, just walked in. Come over, show this face to the world.
I'm not gonna show
Come in here. I ask you how you're doing, and you do exactly. I want you to do exactly what you did to me right now. Hey, baby, how you doing? It's a little affected. You need to go to the Mark Miller School of Acting. You be the character.
I think I did.
I want you to be you. How you doing? Do you have any news about the pool being fixed?
It's right now. There's 2 workers over there, and they think that it's gonna be good by like afternoon.
Did you take the whip out? Were you like used?
He was like, he shows up an hour late. I'm over there, like with my fins on, my goggles on. I'm like, I'm ready. and he comes in and he's like, oh, we have a few hours of work to do. I'm like, okay.
So you just sit by the side of the pool and pretend to swim in the air?
On
just
that,
do
I was
that?
just flopping around on the pool deck. Like.
Yeah. Kobe Alpha says, it's a bank holiday weekend in the UK from Friday, 4 days off work. I think I'm going to stay home this year.
Do it.
Goodness says, now think mixed reality where Fred is there in the pool. That's kind of fun.
Oh wait, I have good news though.
Yeah.
While I was waiting that hour,
Mm-hmm.
Costa Rica is switching gears. It's getting a little bit cooler. I was
Temperature-wise, you mean?
I was under a tree and I felt a breeze, and I'm thinking it's gonna rain soon.
Cool.
I think dry season is over.
Check it out. Frank's name and icon are right here over you right now. See what I'm pointing to?
Because
Right here.
yeah, it's because he is up on a throne. I'm gonna tweet this out. I'll tweet this and tag you in this setup. It's ridiculous what's going on.
You're
here.
responding to Frank's piece right here. Are you
Yeah.
jacked on the platform?
Yeah, he's jacked on the platform, whatever that means. Whatever. I'm gonna look that up on Urban Dictionary.
Don't look it up.
This is me when I arrive. Hello.
Build the ultimate developer's desk? I don't know. That feels like me right there. There you go. We're getting there. Scrolling down here. Here we go. Here's the idea. There's the sketch right there. That's what I'm on right now. Right there. And so that allows me to have the desk at one level, push the desk forward, and walk when I need to walk. I haven't done any shows where I'm walking. Yeah, there it is right there. Shirley Dub's got it out there. I should have put it out there. Shirley Dub beat me to it.
Oh.
There it is right there. So I'm just kind of showing folks what the...
Yeah,
what the
but
thing
they
is.
don't get the whole thing. Hold on.
Wait, you say they don't get the whole thing? Look at this. Look at this. In my blog, somewhere in my blog, I'm like, oh, here's a 3D of my next version I'm going to make. Right there.
Oh, there's going to be a step?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You.
I mean, I don't mind it. It's totally working. That is a serious setup. It is. It's got 4 monitors on it.
But if I tweet this out, then they see how it actually looks with your, like, I don't know, whatever this is. Just a bowl of something gross.
Wow. Hey.
This,
Pay no attention. All right.
Whoa,
These are projects
I
into.
need to wear a mask, please, sir.
There we
Yeah,
go.
we've got
This is.
things of gum on the desk at all times. Oh, an Allegra, man's best friend.
Okay, well, no.
Dirty paper towels.
What is this?
got
Oh,
here?
what is this, Karen? What's your stuff? Oh, panties? What are these?
Panty.
Karen, I can't believe you.
What's this smart. You have a bag. Ooh, it's a bag of screws.
I don't know what's going on, to be honest.
Ooh,
You're embarrassing me.
screws.
No, go. Okay, let's pretend we didn't see that. Let's just say, hold on. This is a real behind the scenes, says Frank. Not the food. I'm fasting, says Surly. Surly's fasting. That's funny. Little cutie hiding behind her nameplate. Yeah, that is funny. That's your nameplate right there. There she is right there. All right, well, thanks for stopping by. Remind me never to do that again.
Yeah, it like you have a choice.
And or clean my
I'm
desk.
right here. Where am I going to go?
What other embarrassing things do I have here? This is also interesting here. This is like just a place where I can hardwire stuff, and then the other end's cut. That's on my desk. It's just, I don't know what this stuff is here. No,
Yeah. We have in his office, I've put a whole thing for all of the tools to go, but yet all over his office, they are everywhere except for the thing where all the tools go. Oh, good thing you have Velcro on your desk. Can you use that?
Johnny Scu7 says there's a better mask. This looks interesting. This LED face mask warns others to stay away and respond. I love it. 6 feet. What fun is that? Do you see that? Is that fun or no?
Yeah, but I prefer like being like, back off, shut it.
What's this?
Oh, what is it?
I don't know.
Is that how much patience I have with you?
Mm.
I want one of those. So you can just look and see.
It's kind of cool.
But can you change the message?
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
Oh, maybe she's talking.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I like it. I like it. I like it. It's fun. Yeah, very cool.
This is like the cook, the thief, his wife, and her lover.
You know what this is like a little bit? It's a little bit like the is he real or not test on Westworld, right? Just gonna poke this in, and I'm just like, that's cool. I like that. It's a fun little mask. Okay, honey, we got a professional show to do here.
Really? Is
Yeah.
it a professional
It's
show?
a professional show.
Really?
Yeah,
Professional?
we're gonna do some professional coding over here.
Oh, okay. We need some help.
Yeah, get on your mic, and we'll ask you about refactoring. Codebase Alpha's like, what on earth is going on? Sorry, Frank says, sorry, I didn't plan to start that side talk. Sex positive could make the mask. Yeah, you can make that mask, honey, if you want to. I like it. It's fun and cool. It's especially this guy. I like that. That's super cool. Back to the code, says Codebase Alpha. Why don't I have that back to the code as a link?
Back to the code.
There it is right there. Let's get back to the code, kids. All right, we're going to get back to that code. Let's do it. Thanks, Karen, for stopping by. Seeing how everybody's doing. All right, so we're here in from spell. Okay, so now I get the first one, and then I want to return this.
Awesome.
I think I want to do is that, like that, right there. So the spell slot level is going to match that spell slot level. So now I can say from spell, give it a spell name and a player. And I think that's going to work. So now, let's put that there. Let's go back into die roll tests. And so now I want essentially from spell. And now I want to be able to pass in light as the spell, the player, right there, and the spell slot level. And it doesn't matter for light. And we're going to call this the light spell. And now that we've got the light spell, then I want to come in and I want to say, what is it? Genesis says, now think D&D feature for that mask design. So Dove says, no, she's awesome. Sphere of repulsion, 6-foot radius. Yeah. So let's see, light spell. No, wait, I want to say dice roller. How many dice roll did I get from? I want this. Dice roll, get from light spell. Okay. And now what I really, really want is I want this, like this. I want to kind of put player action shortcut inside of that. And And I think I want it in its own separate class. That's what I think I want it. Because it's kind of going to have explicit knowledge of things. Let's, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to add C for class. There it is right there. Drop a marker. Grab that. Let's implement this. And spell. Get spell from. It's going to be my spell name. I want to pass in the slot level. Optionally. Spell slot level. Pass that in here. Spell name is coming in here. All right, and my player action shortcut, we're going to call this shortcut actually. This, and then we're going to say dice roll, return dice roll dot from, get from, and pass in this shortcut. That's what we're going to do for that. Make this class static. And so now it's not bad. And the reason why I need to throw a player in is because a few spell effects react to the level of the player. They change their behavior based on the character level of the player. However, most spell effects change their behavior based on what your spell slot level is. But some effects, like when you get to be like 6th level, they have additional features, or 11th level, they get additional features, that sort of thing. So that's why we need to pass the player in, because that level is what's important. If we trace the whole thing in, I can illustrate that, I think, down to item spell effect. And then we're going to come down in here. We get to add spell shortcuts. Right down in here. More powerful when cast at higher levels. It's somewhere in here. I'm expecting this. Well, we're still saying from spell, and we're passing in both slot level and spell level. So one of the things that could happen, yeah, okay, we'll just go into from spell. And yeah, I'm not finding the code that I'm expecting to find here. It might be in process dice ring. We kind of figure this out, what the dice ring is. Dang, all those Imperial unit users. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Janisku 7. The problem is Dungeons and Dragons. It uses Imperial units, and so I'm like, all right, totally happy to change it. But because all of this data is about that. Here, give you a picture of that. Bring up the spells. So here you go, range, for example. So these are the ranges, right, for all of these, right? So you got 30 feet, 10 feet, 120 feet. You've got all of these Imperial units all the way across the board for all of these things. So yeah. When feats can be different sizes, well, yeah, that's not really the case anymore, but Imperial kind of standardizes that. You know, Imperial on its own is I guess, I want to say not that bad, but let me clarify. It's not that bad in the same way that the way we count time is not that bad, where we have these weird different kind of bases that switch depending on whether we're counting minutes or seconds, or actually minutes and seconds are the same essentially base, right? They go to 59 and then cycle back to 0. But your time then goes from either 0 to 1, 0 to 12, or 0 to 11. Wait, is that right? 12, 0 to 12, no, 1 to 12, and then 1 to 12 again, or 0 to 23, right? Something along those lines. Yeah, so it's like, it's okay. It's a way of measuring things, but I would prefer a metric system for distance and a metric-like system for time, you know, as well. But it's a little tricky and hard to do when you're saying, well, we're going to make time based, we're going to sync that up to the year and the day of whatever planet you're on, right? So we happen to be on a planet that, you know, has very relatively consistent characteristics of regard to how many days it takes, how much time it takes to get all the way around, how many days, how many spins of the Earth per year, right? But you throw yourself on another planet, and now what are you going to do in terms of keeping track of time and syncing that up with another planet? It's a little tricky to do. So, yeah, maybe my wishes and desires for a more consistent way of managing time is, you know, a little unreasonable. Okay. So back to my, whoops, what am I doing here? Let's go back to my test case. Okay, so I almost kind of want to just say get spell from, and then I just pass the 6 here, like that, and instead of the player. This is feeling a little bit better. Hold on. Make this the player, the caster level, so the spellcaster level, like that. And then we're going to come in here, player is equal to player helper dot get player at level, like that. Come down here, let's declare this static class. I can just use an uppercase C to get that. Player helper is there. And let's declare this, get player level, player method, like that. And then we're going to say new character. I'm not sure how well this is going to work because we're not going to have a lot of options filled out, but we're going to come in and we're going to say character.level is equal to spellcaster level. And then we're going to return that. Is this read only? Look at that. That looks like it's read only. Let's go figure out that. Player class, classes. Okay, so I got to add a new player class to it. Would time be like your UTC +1, etc., but create a different name instead of UTC? So ED Earth days plus 45 days, or ED. Yeah, just the first thought. Yeah, no, I love that, Jonathan. By the way, I really like the first thoughts. They're often like, hey, this is maybe the direction we should explore. Yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't really thought about that, to be honest. I really haven't. And I really almost feel like, I think there's two things maybe that need to happen. One is, you know, whatever we decide, a decision made on how to sync up everything, right? That's one way. And then number two is a way to present that information to humans so that it's effortless. Because I think right now, time zone conversions are not effortless, right? I want to know what time it is in another part of the world. I've got to, you know, that takes me about 20 seconds to answer that question sometimes. Unless it's something I'm practicing again and again. So the effortless conversion of time and an effortless sync up to a universal time, no matter what, you know, flat out across the universe, right? So if I'm on Mars and somebody else is on Earth and we want to, you know, have some sort of meeting, we can do that at some particular, you know, kind of time that is agreed upon. I wanted to look through, here we go, add class. So that's what I think I need to call. So let's come back over here. We're going to say, maybe we're going to say get let's do this. Let's pass in add class, class name, and let's do this. Let's add this here. Whoops, I think we've got a call to this already. So let's instead add parameter and type in TS to give me a string here. Class name is there. Now I'm going to say Paladin, like that. And well, here, get spell from, let's call him a wizard. We'll just call that for there for now. So add class there, and then we're going to say return the character. So that's just like this super simple way of doing this. So now I can say get spell from the light spell. There's my die roll. So now so let's move these out. This, move that out, and then come back and we want to say, hey, my light spell, this is the code I wanted to do. This is similar. So by the way, when we cast light spell here, when I click on it, what's it look like? Okay. On the UI, it says, this is important, it says cast, no die roll required. So we want to test that in this result back. So we want to say, I think it's type. We want to say assert equal, so AE for assert equal in CodeRush. And the expected value is going to be, what is it? What is that type of it? Thanks so much, Codebase Alpha. Die roll type. So die roll type dot no simple. I think it's what I called it. Oh, come on. Simple. Cast simple spell. All right. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking, is it cast simple spell? So at this point, let's run this and see if this works. It succeeded. Okay, there's cast light spell. Nice, and we did that. Next, bless. Similarly, says no die roll required. Okay. Let's just do this for now, make this a little more generic, so when I copy the code, I won't be needing to rename that. Wizard gets huffy at this point. So light is a simple spell, is it? Problem is, this Einstein showed time is relative. Yeah, it's really interesting. I think one of the things I really like about learning about time in the universe is you realize how ill-equipped human minds are to appreciate, really appreciate and understand scaling of magnitude, both getting large and really small in both space and time. Our brains are well suited for dealing with the scaling that would occur between the smallest thing we can see and the biggest thing we can see, right? Which kind of goes from, the sky or the mountains, our visual representation of the sky, mountains, to something really, really small, like the sharp end of a needle. Right? So we can scale in that range, essentially what I would call like a room, right? You can scale and understand what's inside a room. But the universe has the ability to scale up and down and to warp. And this idea of, in the world we live in, like almost all the events come in with about 140, actually within about 90 milliseconds of each other. So if a synchronous event occurs, some event occurs, we're able to sense that in about we get all the senses coming into our brain about 90 milliseconds. But once you start applying these large distances, right, across space, then the synchronization of elements that are occurring is now happening based on the travel speed and the delivery of that particular item. So if we're talking about light and distance, right, we're seeing like the sun 8 minutes after it's, that light left the sun, right? So we are always living in the past, and yet we don't really believe that, right? And as far as our understanding of the universe goes, we're living way, way in the past in terms of the data that we have, the further away it goes. So I always find that interesting, and I always also love seeing videos that try to help us visualize the scale of things. So yeah, kind of super interesting. I often wonder if time is quantized. Oh no, I don't know what that word means. Let's go look that up. Quantized. What you got for me, Internet? In particular, restrict the number of possible values or states so that certain variables can assume only discrete magnitude. Very interesting. Should improve the test time so they explain what you're testing and expected result. Jonathan, thanks for that suggestion. Yeah. Let's maybe do this. Let's do this. Let's create a method. Like this. Let's get rid of the bool here. And I essentially want to do these parameters to that. Assert simple spell. Or maybe more generic. Assert role type, like this. Assert spell. Oh, maybe not. I'm going back to where I was here before. Assert simple spell. And we'll pass in these pieces right here. And then we're going to do this right here. And we're going to and actually, let's return the dice roll. One of my favorite Coder's features, convert to function right there. Changes the return result right there. And then, so now I can come in here and I can say, hey, assert simple spell, like this. And then I want to change this to be verify simple spells, like this. And then we'll come down here and we're going to make this bless, like that. And let's also get this 6 named up here. Nice. Okay, so verify simple spells, we have that now. Do a quick run of that. The only thing I don't like about having my asserts outside of this is that it's a little harder sometimes if there's a fail. Oops, get spell from. It's a little harder if there's a fail to find it, to track it down. Is there a smallest unit of time? Okay, that's now I'm seeing that. That's super interesting, Codebase Alpha. That's a great question. I love it. And I want to say, yeah, I bet I almost want to say, well, there is. Am I using MS Test? I'm not sure what I'm using. I think it's NUnit, but I'm not sure. Let's see what I got up here. Nope, it's MS Test. right there. That's what I'm using. So the CodeRush templates, by the way, work with whatever test framework you're using. So whatever you got up here, it's going to build the same templates, generate the right code. So that looks like that passed. So good. Now, well, let's keep going. What do we got next? We got command at level 1. Now command at level 1, oh, also no die roll. Okay. Well, let's keep throwing it out there. We're going to say command like this. This is going to be at level 1. This is going to be at level 2. Like that. Those should be there. Let's keep going. What do we got? Cure wounds. All right, now we got our first roll health piece right here. So let's come in here, create a new test method. Just the letter T like that. By the way, Jonathan, you were saying improve test name, so explain what you're testing expected result. Are you cool with this test name, Jonathan? Or am I not following a convention that you would like to see? That's my question to you. Verify simple spells. Are we good with that? Or do we want to change that to say, you know, something different? That's what I want to know. And also similarly, are you okay with this name? Assert simple spell, or do you want something different there? Okay, so we're talking about, next we're talking about cure wounds. So we'll call this test cure wounds, like that. Where we come in, and we really want something more like this. And we're going to say cure wounds, like that. Spellcaster level. I'm going to grab this here. And the spell slot level is at 1, level 1. And so, I just want to call this the roll, not the spell. That, okay. So now that we've got that, we want to put this is equal to. We want to make this equal to. It's health, I think, is what we're expecting. That should be health. Okay. Next, we want to do an assert equal on roll dot what? Die string is what I think it is. Damage, health, extra dice. So the damage, health, extra dice for cure wounds at level 1. Hold on, let's get it up on screen so we see the documentation. Cure wounds at level 1 should be 1d8 plus 4 healing. And right behind, I'm actually going to take what we've got. So the documentation matches this. That's what I'm expecting that die string to be. So we'll put that in. We'll put that in over here. There's a string like that. Okay, hide that down. I don't know if there's anything else we need to test on that. Let's see what happens with that. Does that work? It did not. What did we get? Oh, it didn't get the +4. When we roll it, do we see the +4 in the end result? It's going to give me a 7. It's going to give me a 3. It's not giving me anything. Gives me nothing on that. So standard I've seen the method as a class name. Class names get spells from test. Then I would, when light spell, then roll type is simple spell. I see. I have seen this before, Jonathan. Hold on a second. I'm just bringing up featured chat plugin here. Does it have the ability? Yeah, there we go. Let's see if we can bring this up. Coder's featured chat. Close the other one down. Did it refresh itself? I think it might have, but just in case. There it is right there. Okay. I just wanted to bring this up, Jonathan, here. Here we go. Boom. Jonathan. So standard I've seen. The method as a class name. Class name get spell from tests. Then I would win light spell. Then roll type is simple roll. Yeah. Okay. We could do that kind of thing. So we want something along those lines, but you know, here's the thing, and this is probably not the way I'm doing it is the way I prefer to do it, but probably not the best way. I guess for a couple reasons. One is all of those underscores are hard to hit, so I don't want to do that. Plus, I actually like having one whole test and having several things happening inside of it. I don't like having a test where just one thing is tested here. So I want to get all the aspects of that test is what I want to do. Behavior-driven testing, yeah. I think I would agree with that. That feels and seems correct. We actually had a CodeRush feature request that we have not implemented, but we talked about implementing. That was basically like if I'm here and I type, you know, something like this. What it does is it does this. CodeRush sees you're in a method name and you're typing, and every time you hit the space, it gives you an underscore. That's what the end result is. That is, what do you think about that? Surly says he wants it. No, wait, are you asking about CodeRush for VBA? Or are you talking about what I just did, Surly? Because if you want that, what I just did, if you guys want that, let me know right now and I'll make a feature request right now for the devs. I'll put it back on the top of the bubble of the hump. That's quite cool, actually. The underscore thing. Yeah, we could do it in methods, right? All right, I'm gonna ask for it right now. We're gonna bump it up. It's not a bad idea. Okay, all right, kids. This is a feature request here. I'm inside a unit test, and I want to create something along this lines. I want to say like this. I want to have a method name that looks like this. And I'm going to type it out with spaces first because it's easier to hit. I'm going to say roll. Here, we'll get rid of that. Cure wounds and make sure die roll is 1d8 plus 4. Like that. What I want CodeRush to do is it's like, did you see that? What's up? Whoa! Who's that guy? With Blue Ninja. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Show's buckle up, kids. Show's gonna rock now. You can do that in F#. Damn, who's sneaking in here? Yeah, there's always somebody in here. So what I want CodeRush to do, sorry about that, kids. I'm actually in the middle of a feature request for the devs. So here's what we're gonna do, devs. When I hit a space, so here's the context. Wait, can I do this now? I don't know if I can do this now. CodeRush might be able to do this now. What I want to have happen is inside of here is every time I hit the space bar, I want it to give me an underscore. If the context is such that I'm, you know, essentially in a method name, that's what I'm looking for. If I'm in a method name and I do the space bar, I want an underscore there, is what I want. I think that's fair to say. Is anybody gonna go nuts if I'm here and I do a space bar and it builds me an underscore there when I really wanted just a space there before those two parens, someone might. But I really want to be able to type this in quickly. That's ultimately the goal. I'm wondering now, all right, so let me close that up. I just want to close up that feature request so the devs are like, okay, they know not to watch anymore. They don't need to keep watching it. So we're going to say spaces to underscores in method names. That's the idea. So now I want to see if, can Codeverse do this already? I don't know if we have, oh, it looks like I'm starting to get the flicker. I'm not going to bring up anything new at this point. I'm just going to stay in the code. But there might be a way for Codeverse to do this. Codeverse already has context. There might be a way just to create a shortcut to do that remapping. We'll see. Okay, so we don't get the 1d8 plus 4. What we do get is we get something like this, and I bet there's a roll.modifier. If I come in and say assert equal, and I say 4, and say roll.modifier, like that, I bet that will work. Will that pass? I would say when and then. Nope, still didn't work. The modifier is 0. Interesting. Where are we getting that modifier from? Is, I guess, my question. When we bring it up, let me drag this over to another screen. We bring it up for a little cutie, cure wounds. Actually, I'm not sure where that's coming from. Let me bring up little cutie's sheet on D&D and Beyond. Taking a while to load. I might be able to get page not found. Come on. You can do it. Really? Oh, maybe I have the old little cutie here. She may have deleted that one. Okay, I need a new link for little cutie then. Let's do this instead. Let's go to spells. Bring up the spell data. And let's find, what is it, Cure Wounds, I think? Yeah. Cure Wounds. It's 1d8 plus the SAM, which is, did I document it? SAM, Spellcaster's Ability Modifier. Yeah, that's coming up at 0 because the Spellcaster Ability Modifier is not passed in there. I think we need to pass that in as well in get spell from, is what we need to do. So, so let's do that. Let's say, let's do it here, Spellcaster Ability Modifier. Let's set it equal to 0 by default. Let's double check all my calls to this. So we're up here, Spellcaster Ability Modifier, we're going to set that to 0. So let's pass it in here actually. Pass it in here. All right. So now, all right, so get spell from. We'll say it's 4. Then this becomes 1d8 plus 4. Then that should work. I think it's going to fail now because we haven't actually added any code for that yet. Once it succeeds, yep, there it is right there. And it's just 1d8, but this should actually be plus 4. And then we want to go look at spellcaster, the 4. We want to go look at get spell from and do something with that. So we've got the player. Can we set the spellcaster ability modifier remotely? It's got a setter. I'm going to throw it at it. See if that solves it. Okay, let's run it again. Still didn't work. I think we have to step in the code. All right, I think we're stepping in. We're going to debug it. Ooh, that didn't work. Ah, it's got a setter for, well, it had a setter for Jason. What do we got to do in here? We're going to need to set the spellcasting ability of the player. Let's do this. Player dot yeah, I feel like I need I need to pass in the player. I think I've just got so much here to try to simplify, but really need to get the player ready for this is what I need to do. That's what I think I need to do. So let's do that. Player dot charisma is equal to 19. Can't set that. Is there lowercase charisma? Base charisma equal to 19. That gets us a mod of 4. That doesn't work at all. Or should I just make it so that works? Yeah, it's kind of this idea. I've got multiple pieces building on to each other, and do I want to test those multiple pieces, or do I want to add some code to bypass it completely? I think I don't want to add code to bypass it. Is what I think I don't want to do. So we can't really specify what that modifier is. Oh, but do I want to test that though? Let's get rid of this. And let's do this. Let's create a player helper, static class, player helper. Like this. We're going to create a new function that's called get player, get paladin. I want to say get little cutie paladin. So I'm going to get something close to little cutie is what I'm going to do here. Just enough to get the, and then we're going to say return player, hit the coder's key, convert to function like that. Player helper, hit the coder's key, move type to file. And now I already have a class called player helper. I bet that's my problem. Let's see what we got. Yeah, look at the file name up there, playerhelper1.cs. All right, close. Don't save. Let's get rid of this. Actually, before I get rid of this, let's come over here. Put that in there. There we go. Look at that. Of course, I already had it. It's making calls to it. I just wrote this code. So get little cutie paladin. So we're going to do this for now, just enough to get the pieces we need. Let's delete this one. Let's see here. Hold on a second. Jonathan, I see your post out there. Give me 1 second here. Right. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Hold on a second. Let's bring that one up too, Jonathan. We'll get that up so it's obvious to see here. I was talking with a friend earlier. He was stuck on fixing a bug or not a bug. The integration tests were failing. He was stuck trying to understand whether he should fix the test to pass the code or fix the code to pass the test. Yeah, it's kind of like, does the comment, when the comment and the code are out of sync, do I change the code to match the comment, or do I change the comment to match the code? It's a similar kind of issue. And that's kind of what I'm debating here too, in terms of what is, and I think the criteria for success on this question, the way you judge the answer, how you're going to answer this question, is what leads to higher quality code in the long term, right? Because it could be either one. It could be that the test is wrong, or it could be that the engine has changed and that the test is wrong and needs to be updated to reflect the new changes in the engine, in which case changing the test to match the code would lead to higher value long term. Or it could be that it could be a genuine bug and you need to fix it. So no comments in code, please, says Jonathan. Yeah, I remember a long time ago I was in a job interview and somebody said, how do you feel about comments in code? And it was a really interesting question, because how I feel about comments in code has to some degree changed over time. In general, I'm like the same way. I want the code to be descriptive. Comments are problematic in that comments are not verifiable. There's no way to verify that the comment is real or not, but there are ways to verify if the code is true or not. However, there are times when I think, having something useful in the code, a comment in the code can be incredibly useful. Especially, I'll do that sometimes. Like, I've got a number of pictures that I put in the code, and the pictures, at least at the time, definitely needed to be there to explain what's going on. And I wouldn't want to try to understand the code without the picture. So I find that sometimes useful, something like that. So All right, so there's Get Little Cutie. Paladin is here. I want to go back over to, do I have any calls to get player at level? Let's see if we can work our way out of this here. So get spell from. And what I want to do in here is I want to pass the player in instead of this. We're going to pass in a character or player. That's where we're going to pass in and get spell from. Then now we got to go find that and get that. So I think this is going to be right here when you hit the coders key. Whoops. That's in my player helper. Right there. Hit the coders key, choose to declare local. Call that player. And then in get spell from, we need just that. Okay, there's my get spell from right there. Need a test to prove that Sprinkles is an awesome battle unicorn. We can get there. I don't think Sprinkles is quite there yet, but okay. Now, so here we need to do the same thing. So we need to get this and do that. Pass in the player like that. Okay. And I like that we're not actually using the data, which means we can change the data for the game, and this test case will still work. I might have other I might have other ones that actually get the actual player using the current data, but those I've had those, and as I update the player, like if I change what spells they have, those can fail over time, and so they make a set of tests that are potentially brittle or in flux. Surly Devs ask, would that test be called when Sprinkles Awesomeness is doubted? Then doubter gets a tidal wave dumped down on them. That feels like more of a retaliation kind of thing than an actual test. But I guess you might want to say then confirm the doubter gets a tidal wave. Yeah, sure. Good test method name, Surly Dev. Okay, so let's come back in here. Are we compiling? Anybody hungry? Anybody want some pudding? I just ordered a little serving of pudding. What the? I said just one serving. I said one serving of pudding. Hey, I got one passed. Got a test case pass over there. All right, let's run this one as well. What do we got here? Look at that. We got a pass over there on the roll. Sweet. Okay. Good. Let's give this a better name. All right, let's play with the win. Cure wounds is cast. Oh yeah, I need that feature right now. Then dice are 1d8 plus. Oh yeah, I'm really hating this. 4 healing, like that. That's the new test name right there. How do you like that, Jonathan? Just going AFK. Yeah, it's going. Okay, how are you doing, Pudding? Yeah. I'm a little bit like, whoa, that's like a lot of these underscores. The other thing I'd want to do is take these underscores and lower their emphasis. That's the other thing I want to do. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Starting up a image editing app here. Yeah, the underscores are kind of bright. Bad test name in my opinion. Too long, says Sign Patterns. Yeah. Yeah, this is a style. What do we call this? Behavior-driven testing. I think this is a style of test names. I don't like it because for two reasons. One is it's hard to type out. These underscore characters are not as easy as a space. So my cognitive load is higher as I'm typing them out. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Second thing I don't like about this is the emphasis on the underscores is too high. So bring that up to its own layer. Let's darken it a little bit. What about there? Let me get my fill out because it looks like the background is not quite matching. There we go. So here's original, and there's what I want to do instead. Let's get that the right size here. Again, original, that's what I want to do. So if we make it so it's much easier to type out and we can dim down, we can dim those down a little bit so they're not so high contrast, then I'm like, okay, I don't have a problem with it. But right now my cognitive load goes up because it's going up for two reasons. It's going up because typing it in is a lot. And then secondarily, these bright underscores are taking away from the whole purpose of a space. And so I want those underscores dimmed down. That's what I want to be able to make this work. So, all right. TDD, right? By the way, snake case for life. That's snake case. Is that what that is? Design patterns? Pudding says, I'm Okies decided to not go out due to the pre-Easter insane lines in the supermarkets. Oh, yeah. So I live in Costa Rica, and they actually seem to be doing a pretty good job. The government seems to be doing a good job here, taking care of stuff. In fact, I went to pay my water bill this morning, so I still can't pay my water bill online. I have to go there in person, but I was the only one there. They say stay 6 feet away, but they also have a sign that says, in Spanish, it says, wash your hands before and after the transaction. And they've built a sink, and they got running water to the sink right at the front of the line. And this is like this small little water payment place in the middle of nowhere. And I've seen other changes as well in the country to protect workers and folks at grocery stores, things like that, like barriers between people who are paying and cashiers to protect the cashiers. And so I'm like, I'm in general pretty impressed with it. The one with dashes, certainly that was asking, snake case, kebab case. Oh yeah, screaming snakes case. Snake case for lowercase and screaming snake case for upper. Yeah, I have not heard that before. Okay, let's get back to the code.
Back to the code! Getting closer!
Getting closer. All right, so when Cure One's cast, then dice are 1d8, then...
Nice function name!
Yeah, I don't know about that. Then 1d8 plus 4 healing. Then roll 1d8 plus 4 healing. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so okay, I got it. Paste down here. Yeah, and it's so that's a way of doing it. Now I want to do a different one. Here's the way I would do it. Test cure wounds like this. This is what I would do. I would do this. I would interrogate those pieces. I think I might do this. This is what I think I would do. Like that. And then I would do guess I kind of want this on the clipboard here. Hold on. Let's add assert role now, just to clear that. And here's what I would do. This is spell name. This is the spell slot level. This is the expected dice roll type. And this is the expected dice, like that. So expected dice is going to go down right here. And expected die roll type is going to go here. Like that. So now we've got this assert roll, and then now that I have that, then I can come in here and I can say, let's do it at level 2 and verify that we're at 2d8 plus 4 healing. And so that's how I want to do it. I want to have my test cure wounds here, and let's run that, see what we get. You can try nesting class for the unchanging part of the test and then a method for each changing part. I always found organizing and naming tests a pain in the butt. C++ poisoned me, says design patterns. Codebase office is not enough underscores. Okay, so it passed. This is kind of what I want to do. This, in terms of style, I don't want to have one of these for each one. I want to have something. In fact, I probably want to have a bigger method, you know, maybe even that goes in and nails these. But the cool thing about this is now I can come in and I can even say, well, let's do a 3 and a 4, right? And verify that that's, you know, or maybe jump ahead, cast it at level 7. And let's look at cure wounds, actually. One more time.
Bushwhacker.
Sure, upper limit? No upper limit. So we can actually go into our spells page, go to cure wounds. Hold on. There it is right there. We can cast it at different levels. So at level 9, it should be 98 plus 4. So I can come in here and say, well, let's make this a 9, and this should be 98 plus 4 healing, is what we're looking for there. So we can do that. So this is kind of how I like to have my test cases, like that. And this is not. I've seen people do this. I don't have, you know, strong judgment against it. It's just not right for me yet. Maybe later, sometime in the future, I'll do that. All right, so there's test cure wounds. Let's go in and grab another spell and see what other things we can test here to see if our rolls are all good. Okay. Guiding Bolt. Look up the Guiding Bolt. It's an attack. Okay. We're looking for 46 Radiant. And now I want to say test little cutie spells. And I just have a feeling people are going to get angry here in a second. Because now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say Guiding Bolt. I'm testing all kinds of things in here. Guiding Bolt at level 1 is 4d6 Radiant. This is expected to be an attack. 4d6. Spellcaster's ability, that should be plus 4, right? Whoa. No? Oh, it's not. It's not plus it. Okay, that makes sense. Because also in the documentation, you can see it's just 4d6 right there. So we're looking at 4d6 Radiant. Like that. And why not? Let's run it. Run that test. We've got Guiding Bolt at level 2 as well. $5d6. Okay. We got a fail. Oh, wait. Level 9? hold on, let's close that down. I'll just scroll. Got an exception, object not reference. Okay, let's go figure out why that is. Let's set a breakpoint here and debug it. All right, here we go. There's no action shortcut on get from. Spell name, cure wounds. For this player, spell slot level 9. Oh, because the player can't handle that spell slot level. I see. Okay. So I think in this case, I'm going to change the test case. That's what I think I'm going to do. And I can have another test case to push the edges of this. Okay. Let's test it now just with that on it. Retro CRT is here. Retro CRT, why aren't you playing? Why aren't we having this play? We'll look into that in the future. There's a manual play for you right there, Retro CRT. Welcome. I'm almost thinking it's a compile. I haven't compiled the other overlays since I made the change, and maybe on run they don't load the data. It doesn't make sense, does it? Why isn't that working? Maybe the compile copies the data file into the binary folder. Maybe that's what's going on. Looks like we got a pass there, so I'm good with that. Guiding bolt at level 1. Guiding bolt at level 2. Probably going to be 5d6. Guiding bolt level 2, 5d6 radiant. Heroism is just a simple spell only. So that means we can come up here, add heroism in there. That. Aid. Aid is also a simple spell. It looks like. Let's double check that by looking at the thing here. Yeah, aid's a simple spell. Okay. Enhance ability. Also a simple spell. That. Enthrall. Looks like a simple spell. Okay. Okay, another simple spell. No die roll is required. Zone of Truth. Simple spell. Divine Smite. Now, there's a problem in here that I noticed. Divine Smite is that it says right around over by the cursor here, it is 0d8 radiant damage. It's absolutely the wrong level. This needs to come in at, I think, 2d8 or 1d8 or something like that. I wonder if I can figure that out by bringing it up here. Divine Smite. Level 1 is 0. Level 2, yeah. So it's basically the spell slot level you're throwing it at -1. So we got to figure out why Divine Smite. Now, Divine Smite is special. It's not an actual spell. I've got these other things called special leveling powers, so I need to fix that and figure out what's going on with the Divine Smite. Let's create a test case for Divine Smite right now and figure out why that's not working. Let's create a new test method for this, because this is more than just a little cutie kind of spell. This is test Divine Smite, like that. Let's do this. Assert roll Divine Smite, like that. The player, the spell slot level. Well, the problem is, so if I do this, I think it's going to work, actually, to be honest. And Divine Smite is, it's simple. It's a cast simple spell. And I almost think this should be empty here, even though it says 1d8. I don't know. I can try 1d8 right here, radiant, like this. Let's do two things. Let's come in, let's go in here. Let's just do a run all the test cases inside of the class. Let me hide the scroll. Cortez passed. I wanted to make sure that this one passed. That passed right there. That one's good. Cert roll failed, and all right, let's debug it. Okay. So we got a shortcut null right here. So I'm going to come right down here. I'm just going to say, hey, set next statement here. And let's get out for a second. Let's come back up here, set next statement here, and jump inside. We got one in there. Spell slot level is 2. What's my old shortcuts in here? Got that flickering thing happening on my screen again. By the way, it seems to be, I've connected with OBS now. When I close down OBS, it stops. Hey, baby, how's everything going in our world?
We can't go in the pool today.
Uh-oh. When? Tomorrow? That was a very upset Karen Mandicati. Just walked out of the room. She needs that pool to reset. That's tough. All right. Shortcut is in there. I just want to see if I can drill through it here. I'm getting flickering with the, okay, here we go. Spell slot level. It's a -1. Because it's not, I think the spell slot level being assigned a -1. QC Vadu is now following. Thanks for that follow. I could change this to say, hey, this equals -1 or that. Spell slot level is equal to -1. Let's go look through. Let's look through the code here and see what's going on with this. From action, slot level 0 passed in there. Yeah, it's only assigned here. You're gonna use, yeah, make a name constant. I'm totally with you on that. That's kind of why I'm looking at it. Like, what's happening here? Where am I passing a -1 into from action? Slot level override. 0 is defaulting there. We might come back here. I'm going to drop a marker and we'll come back. Yeah, it's right there. There's my spell slot level override, which is now coming into from spell. So that's 1, 2, 3, first int parameter coming in. Slot level. That's spell shortcuts. Well, I kind of want to set a breakpoint here and run. And I want to stop this. And let's debug this one more time. I think that breakpoint I said is going to be hit because there's static classes that are initializing loading up data. I think. Well, I thought it was going to get hit. Here, now it's hit. Okay. It's Divine Smite. All right, let's step through it and see what's going on here. Spell slot levels. So these are how many cantrips I think is what's here. Level 1 I can do 4. Level 2 I can do 2 spells. I think that first one is cantrips is what I believe it is. All right, so here we're in here. Okay, spell dot level. So that's what was passed in. Spell level is here. Add spell shortcuts. Is that because, hold on, I think it could be the data. Let's go look at the data for this. I think it may be in the data that I've specified the spell level is a -1. Divine Smite spell level is asterisk, so it's showing up as a feature or a trait. I want to look at what Divine Smite does. What are the rules for it? No link? No link to define smite. Do I have a second more hits to it down here? And spend 1 spell slot. So it's like a spell. So interesting. I think the -1 is entered here, not as like a flag, but as, oh no, wait, but it's an asterisk here. I actually want to change it to a -1, I think. I'm looking for an asterisk in my file as a quote. Nope, not there. That looks right. There we go. So here I'm using it as a flag. D1 means it's a class feature than an actual spell is what it means. Yeah, the problem is though, if you look at the description for define smite, it's basically saying what spell slot are you going to throw this into? So when you hit him with a melee weapon attack, you can expend 1 spell slot. Deal an extra radiant damage to the target. So, but the thing is, it's spell slots greater than a certain number. So if I were to say that this is at level 1, I could do that. I almost want to do this, I think. I want to throw a 1 in both of these places. This might actually fix it. Because flagging it as a feature, I think, doesn't necessarily make sense just yet. I think the feature can also come from the fact that its school is heavenly instead of one of the other 8 schools of magic. So let's just try this. Let's do a send out comma separated values. Let's put in our D&D folder. Looks like we're already there. And this is going to be our spells. There it is right there. Let's reinitialize. Well, we don't need to reinitialize our player data. Actually, we could. Let's do it on the stream live. Little cutie and Divine Smite. Look at that. Slot level, well, it says upcast to slot level 2. That's not working here. What I'm expecting to work isn't working. I'm doing this and then this, and it's not changing. It's saying it's slot level 2 for both. But I can put it in slot level 1, according to the rules, I think. I think I want more time to think about this, is what I think I want to do. When you cast this spell using a spell slot of 2nd level or higher, the damage is increased by 1d8 for each slot above 1st. Do I not? Let me go check to see. Do I have... The bonus threshold. When the spell is cast slot above this threshold, the spell becomes more powerful. So I get another d8. Yeah, so there's something not quite right, and I wanted to spend more time to look at it, but I don't want to look at it now. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to end the show. That's what I think I'm going to do. I think I got to go check in with my beautiful wife and see if I can make her day a little bit better. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Let's go find out who we can raid out here. Which of our Lovely live coders is out there coding. We'll send you off to him. I apologize for being a little shorter today. I'd like to get a little more done. Hope 6 positive is okay. I will let them know. So that is just using spell slots as kind of economy. Yeah, that's what it's doing. Yeah. Jessamine says, have a sparkling day. Stay away from people. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Who's out there that we're following right now? Instafluff. Bald Bearded Builder. Let's send you to Bald Bearded Builder. Here comes the raid to Bald Bearded Builder. Tell Michael Jolly I said hi. And we'll see you tomorrow, kids. Take care. Stay away from folks. And we'll see you.